When I saw that Tottenham Hotspur were interested in Ronald Kolo Muani, couldn't help get excited. You know, this guy is the perfect profile for Ange Ball for sure. He has all the facilities to make it in the Spurs system, in the way that Ange likes to rotate his forwards. It just would be the most perfect deal. And I see that Spurs, according to David Ornstein, are pursuing a deal, preferably a loan deal. United are also in the mix. But for me, the most perfect move for Kolo Muani, who's now 26 years old, would be Tottenham Hotspur, and I'm going to explain that in this video. But before I begin, if you are new here, please hit the subscribe, hit the like button too. It'll be greatly appreciated. But yeah, Kolo Muani, I like to sort of put his profile in the same category as an Alexander Isak. Those players with long legs but deceptive legs. Legs which move quickly when they're running with the ball. Legs which has defenders really struggling to follow. You know, those long legs really open up angles and different way of scoring goals. You know, Kolo Muani can score from many separate angles due to the fact that his legs allow him to do that. You know, it may sound silly, but these are the sort of things that you must look for when you're profiling players. And when you look at Tottenham Hotspur, they don't have enough players in those wide positions who can create shots from any sort of angle. You look at Son Heung-min in his prime, most certainly off his left, off his right, you know, in those tight, wide angles, in those central areas. Son, deadly. But we must now look in the present. Is Son playing his best football at the minute? No. Is he going to be a great option to have in and around the squad though for the next year? Sign a new deal? Great. He'll be fantastic. But Kolo Muani can have the same volume of shots that Heung-min Son has as well, which is very crucial to this deal sort of happening. And then you look at the other wide players, Brennan Johnson as well. He is more of a box present. He'll know when to attack the back stick. He kind of sniffs that area. That is his zone, the Johnson zone. He's always going to score goals in that back stick area. So you want to have a profile like Son, and Kolo Muani fits that as well. And I feel like as a 1v1 dribbler, Kolo Muani is fantastic. 1v1, he has the burst, the acceleration, the same like Isak. I said he's the same profile because he has the burst. He has the beating of his man. He's strong, physical in those 1v1 duels as well going forward. He also knows how to use his body in those forward areas as well, wriggling out of spaces. You almost see a guy as tall as Kolo Muani who's almost 6 feet too tall. Same with Isak. You're like, how is he moving his body in this sort of way? That body which is slim, but it's tall, but it's also really good on the ball. You don't get that very much in football, and having someone like Kolo Muani on a sort of loan opportunity for Spurs, you have to get it. And I've seen a lot of Spurs fans not happy about this deal, but it is absolutely incredible. It really is. I'm going to show you, I'm going to sort of make sort of the lineup that Spurs would probably play with Kolo Muani in the team, and I can tell you it is going to be absolutely incredible. So here you have it, Tottenham Hotspur. You know, Kolo Muani off the left, as you can see here. You've got Solanke as well in the 9, and you've got Johnson, who I think would be the best profile if Spurs were to set up in this way. And well, let's just look as well at that backline: Van der Ven, Romero, Porro, Spence. Obviously, if Udogie comes back and he's fit, he'll probably play left back. And then Spence or Porro, it is a toss-up depending on what sort of game it is. If you want deep passing, creativity, Porro is your guy. If you want 1v1 dueling, overlaps, ability to use the ball in a more ball-carrying way, Spence will be your man at right back. Obviously, I do feel like this 6th position for Spurs needs upgrading. Bissouma was fantastic against Liverpool, but they need a sort of player who is better in those duels, but better at reading space as well, and is comfortable with 2 attacking 8s that would be Kulusevski and Maddison. But that's for another later video who Spurs could get in that sort of zone. Obviously, Kingsley as well as that goalkeeper. Thought he was brilliant on the ball, fantastic. But again, it could be Vicario. But for me, in terms of his ball playing ability, Kingsley is a right player. But yeah, let us talk about that sort of front, sort of free in a way, in the left sort of spaces of the pitch. Muani, Solanke and Maddison. What I like about this is if Kolo Muani has the ball in these wide areas, these spaces occupied by Maddison. You've got Solanke willing to make these runs beyond in here. And if it's Udogie, again, he'll be in this sort of zone as well. So you've always got players in and around that left sort of position. And for me, Son Heung-min especially, he finds himself isolated a bit too much. And it's not due to the fact, you know, he's a bad player. It's the way the system requires that left winger to be a 1v1 dribbler and somebody who's able to create space on his own. And even if Maddison is playing near Son, we almost see Son playing better. But again, Maddison's injured. I don't know what's going on with him. You know, he's not able to play a lot of minutes because of his injury record. So even if Maddison isn't in the side, Kolo Muani is enough of a 1v1 threat to be so good on this left side, especially with Solanke's movement across the line. Centre halves will be too occupied with the Solanke. and you can go from there. It really, really opens up so much for Tottenham Hotspur. It really, really does in this left side of the pitch. Because for me, the right side, it functions so well. Kulusevski in there, Johnson in there, the rotations as well as Porro in there too. It is really good. These three, the way they move around, I know Spurs fans aren't the greatest fans of Johnson. It is so, so good. Johnson is the sort of player who's going to get you goals. His 1v1 threat, maybe he's one-dimensional. But if you put the profiles around him, the Kolo Muanis, who's going to have more of the responsibility to go 1v1, then Tottenham Hotspur will be cooking. They really, really will be cooking. They just need to find a player like Kolo Muani who can be a 1v1 threat. And for me, what I love, really, I didn't mention it at the beginning, is his ball carrying. Kolo Muani could receive a ball from the halfway line and drive. He can get you up the pitch, draw a foul, win a foul. You need those players who can win the game in sort of territory. He's going to really dominate the left flank by his ball carrying, by his ability to receive on the turn, by his ability to run in behind. He has so many strings to his bow, you know, all in one player who's 26 now, approaching maturity. Spurs have a very young squad. They need this sort of experience. He's played in a World Cup final where he was brilliant. We saw him come off the bench and influence the game. I know he missed that 1v1 against Martinez, but again, he's a massive, massive threat. Spurs need more threats. He would be the similar sort of threat that Solanke is, but on a cheaper deal. I mean, wow. I really, really would think this deal would be perfect for Spurs to get over the line in terms of the rotations across that front three, whether it is Johnson on the right, whether it is Kulusevski on the right and Madders is in this 8 and then Sarr, whatever it is. Spurs will have options, attacking threat, taking off the goal burden off Solanke's chest, you know, because in certain games, Solanke will peel off to the left. Muani is more than comfortable playing the centre-forward role. And again, he's also an option to play instead of Solanke. We've seen that Solanke can get maybe burnt out, too many minutes, too many games. Then get yourself Kolo Muani, who can play the centre-forward role. And you won't really miss the channel running of Solanke because Kolo Muani is a fantastic channel runner. For me, Spurs need to get this deal done. He'll be absolutely sensational for them.